This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. Quickest 180 minutes in sports talk and television continues. That was a very quick level one of the program. George Kurtz will join us in a couple of minutes, but Cam Stewart in the house. So yeah, the Phoenix Open, the waste management, which has always been a fun little pun that the waste management's the sponsor of the PGA event, which people get the most wasted at. Although the Canadian Open sort of figured it out. And the Canadian Open is coming on right now, but it was more respectful, the Canadian Open. But they got the hockey boards and people are chugging beers and stuff. And even the golfer himself got tackled by security. So,
Hadwin. That's right.
Yeah, Hadwin. The thing is, you know what it is, though, Cam? Golf's in a weird spot because they can't come across. You guys, you're a golf fan. You need these kids to want to go to your events because no one else cares, bro. You know what I mean? So if you turn off then, it's like, you know what? You guys suck. I'm not even going to come. It's boring. I'm not coming here just to watch. I'm coming here to drink, so I'm not even going to come anymore. It's a fine line, but it did go too far. And I noticed, too, it was one of those deals. It was like when I was mouthing off at the kicker at the football game, and the cops were laughing. You could see the videos, bro. The Scottsdale police weren't doing anything. Like, I could see them chuckling it up, like, ha, ha, ha. Like, they weren't telling the fans, yo, shut up, or I'm going to arrest you. That's what they got to do. You just said it yourself. As soon as somebody was out of line in that Augusta, police, they don't even call security. They were like, arrest them. They arrest you, they take you off, and they arrest you.
You
like,
go to Masters jail, like you at the Bills game. Yeah, I saw a guy. He goes, I'm banned for life. My family's banned for life. They're going to, like, sometimes if the guy does something really stupid, they arrest him. I'm going to tell you something, Morency, after we hit the serious, man, there's a lot of things going down with golf, but you're absolutely right. They took it too far this year. It was in big trouble.
Shout out to everybody joining us on Sirius XM Channel 159. We had Brady Cannon on live from the MGM and a great time at the MGM Sportsbook last week. And I'm kind of kicking myself. I like Corey Connors, Cam, last week. But I've learned my lesson now, and I brought it up to him, and I said, we were talking about how rowdy it was going to be. And I didn't think it was going to be that rowdy, but, like, we knew. You know, I was like, man, and we talked about how I said, it was my question to him. I said, you know, how does it affect your handicap? I said, some players hate this stuff, right? Some of the younger guys don't mind it. Most of the golfers don't like it, but they don't want to publicly say they don't like it because they don't want the fans turning on them. But it happened. And I like the Canadians because of it, Cam. And a Canadian ended up winning, but it was the wrong Canadian. Next time, I'm just going to take, like, the Canadian Open, the events in Michigan. I'm sort of starting to figure out where these Canadian guys play well, bro. Not Hawaii, not California. Give me a Canadian in Ohio, Cam. Give me a Canadian in Michigan. Give me a Canadian at the waste management. You know, where people are getting wasted or it's windy and bad weather and stuff, and it happened.
You know what it is, Gabe? Nick Taylor, out of all the Canadians, is the guy who's the quietest. He's from Abbotsford, BC, went to the University of Washington. The difference was, dude, I'm telling you something. When all those guys were flipping out with the beer cans, he
didn't piss the crowd off. They liked him. He just went up and hit his ball.
He shuts up. He shuts up. His caddy looks like a guy who likes to smoke a little bit. So he's like, hey, how you doing? Like, okay, Nick, let's try to do that. This guy got out of so much danger, and another winner on the PGA Tour, over 100-1. Let's talk about this, Gabe.
Amazing.
Do people not understand? Nick Taylor hit the best putt in Canadian golf history, a 90-footer to win the Canadian Open. And this guy goes in the waste management, beats down Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Sahith Theegala. And know what the only sad thing was? Good old Charlie Hoffman, the representative of waste management, played the best tournament of his life in 8 years and lost in a playoff to the Canadian. It turned out to be like a wicked tournament. Shout out to Nick Taylor, Gabe, BC's finest. Washington Huskies finest. This guy is the best Canadian golfer right now. So clutch. He got out of so much danger. It was one of the best up and down performances I've ever seen. He didn't hit any fairways, and he still won the tournament. Guy's wicked.
And think, Cam, that Canadian Open he won was also a rowdy tournament. He clearly is comfortable in the rowdy environment. He just scored, all right, you know what I mean?
And Gabe, he doesn't talk. He just goes like he's like a robot. He just goes through it. Like, okay.
I'd like to ask him, actually. We'll try to get a question into him somehow. Maybe he's one of these dudes, bro. He's such in his zone, he doesn't even hear them. You know what I mean? He doesn't. He might just be like, I don't even know. Like, I'm just dialed up in my own little world. Because one thing is, it's like anything. It's like a talk show host with trolls, or like a baseball or hockey. We'll get to the Leafs and the Senator situation, which I thought was pretty funny. But once these drunk people, Cam, know they're pissing you off, like you're dead. You're done.
Yeah.
Like once Zach Johnson went up to them, it was like, bro, just ignore them. Like, and they'll move on to someone else. Then they started following him and mouthing off to him. And like I said, Cam, if I was playing, bro, I'd get up to the tee. I'd be like, yeah, hey, what's up, everyone? Hey. And then I just give me a second, man. Just give me a second. Boom. You got to be cool to them, and they'll be all right with you, Cam. They weren't jerks to everybody. They were jerks to the people that told them to shut up.
They boo everybody this year because the alcohol started even earlier. So if you didn't even hit like a shot within
they cut
30
off
feet,
alcohol sales
like,
on Saturday even.
They used to only boo guys who didn't make the green. They were booing guys who put it on the green. Like you had to get it within 20 feet. So some of these golfers are really starting to get pissed off. But Morency, the oldest trick in the book, bring treats. Like guys who used to bring balls and other things and throw them up in the stands. You're right. It's like a wrestling fans. Yeah, you got to get them on your side. You got to bribe them. You get a sponsor's gift pack and you start throwing them up to the drunks. That's how you keep them off your back. But Zach Johnson, stupid. Never fight those guys back, man. But it got pretty ugly. He got upset too. They're actually talking about really changing things with the beer, the liquor laws. Those guys they were doing vodka shots at 6 a.m. and they were sitting there. Imagine doing that all day. Just think about it. All day pounding drinks. It wasn't just beers. So after a while, they were pretty lubricated. They were wasted. Yeah.
So in other words, the 2024 class of ASU basically ruined the waste management for everybody forever.
They sure did. Sun Devils.
It's right there. It's right on their. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. It's all ASU, Cam. It's all us ASU frat boys just getting lit up.
You would have loved it.
And then you said they cut off the alcohol. They're not going to sell booze anymore at this thing.
The best is they have this one guy. It's all like Sun Devils. Guy rolls out in his purple Grand Canyon shoe hat. Hey, he's like, I love Grand Canyon, and I was like, oh, it was awesome. Guy actually played pretty well. He's like 2 under. It's a cool tournament, but you said it. It's too frat boy now. Like if you're an old guy getting there, it's a dangerous place to be. Probably lots of wallets were lost as well, on top of the alcohol consumption.
I don't know if these kids have wallets.
Yeah.
A lot of cell phones were lost. I guarantee you. Yeah, I guarantee you. I'd like to know how many people drop their phone into little ponds and stuff like that. Like honestly, I'd like to imagine being an Uber driver picking these kids up after the stories.
Not fun.
Like no, I stayed far away. When I saw, I didn't even go to Scottsdale. Everyone's like, that's where all the clubs and the kids and the parties are at. I'm like, I'll just stay in downtown Phoenix. I'm good right here, bro.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm fine, man.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the rack. And it was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you can talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like, OKC just rolling into Detroit going, yeah, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
It is a big I told you so if Mac Jones comes back and Mayo keeps him and the Patriots don't draft a quarterback at number 3. But the fan base is a big problem. I mean, you bring back
fan base will be fine if they win.
There's the if. If they win, Fan base won't care if you're quarterbacking the Patriots if they win.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. We're kicking it at Bellworks in New Jersey, the SportsGrid studios. Great stuff. So first time that I've done a show from here. We were here yesterday with Scott Farrell and Joe Ranieri. Awesome stuff. Super Bowl 8. And they literally and figuratively discovered the Big Bang Theory on this property. It's quite a complex here. It had like the world's largest telescope. There's like massive, like it's an historical place. And it's funny because I seem to know all of this a hell of a lot more than any of these people that are in the building when I tell them this stuff. The microwave was invented here. They discovered microwave radiation. So anyways, it's like the Bellworks Studios. It was the original Bell building, like Bell phone, like the... So, like, you see in a lobby, there's like 17 Nobel Peace Prizes that have been won. Like Big Bang Theory, cosmic, radiation, radio waves, whatever, you name it. All stuff. I guess they're pretty smart people around here, except for me now. So, man, this show is flying by here on the Monday Night Meltdown.
Except for the SportsGrid crew. That's amazing. Won a lot of awards around here.
Well, it's the best too, Cameron. So yeah, they're like, what? I said they had a Big Bang Theory. Like that serious.
You're talking about like microfusion and all sorts of stuff. Hey,
they thought I was talking about the TV show with the hot blonde chick, I think.
Yeah, The girl's actually pretty good. Yeah. Good
Kelly
crew.
Kuko.
Yeah, that's right. She's in a murder mystery thing too. Yeah, no. Actually, no, it's really pretty. The girl who acts really nerdy, but you should see her when she's not like it's one of those like trick characters. She's really like, she's very, very.
Cam is right.
Pretty good.
The Kelly girl was like the star sort of one on the show. Mm-hmm. And the other one with the glasses, the blonde girl, was sort of like a sidekick. But in real life, the sidekick is actually like a 12 on 10, like, oh my God. And but Kelly Kuko is a good actress. She does like good stuff on Netflix and all that. Let's bring in George Kurtz right now. What's going on, George? How you doing?
Doing well. You want to guess if I've ever seen that show?
No,
George.
Which one?
You don't like Seinfeld. I don't think you've seen The Big Bang Theory. That's
Big Bang Theory. But I did know who Kelly Cuoco, I can't pronounce her last name, Cuoco is. I know who that is, but I've never seen the show, no.
We should ask him. So what have you seen on television, George?
I watch the crime shows. I like the NCISs, the CSIs. Are they still CSIs? I don't even know. But I like those shows.
Yeah?
Law and Orders.
So
okay.
Yeah. There's a new Law and Order.
Law and Order Toronto starts in a week and a half. They had all the Jays and the Raptors doing the commercials. Law and Order Criminal Intent Toronto. Can't wait.
When it airs here, I'll watch that. I like shows like I watched the NCIS Australia, Sydney, I think they call it. So I watch that. I like the cop shows. It doesn't matter where it is. Bad guy does something, good guys go get him.
Sydney. I didn't peg you for that, George. You're amazing.
They haven't had CIS like they're really running out. Like we're doing Australian ones now. Really?
Yeah, it's brutal. They do NCIS, Hawaii, Sydney. It's like, come on, guys. Really,
it's a formula, man. If the formula works, they run it. There'll be an NCIS, Moscow if they thought it would work.
Yeah. So there's a Law and Order Toronto. It starts February the 22nd. And it's all sort of like New York. It's taken from real events. And Toronto has a lot of real events. And when I heard about the Law and Order and stuff, I flippantly said, oh, boy. Well, I said, they're going to do an episode where the mayor gets extorted by a Somalian crack gang. Right? And lo and behold, I think it's the first episode. I think they're going to open up with that. Why not try to open up with a bang? The Rob Ford
Gabe, they're
story
doing another
lives.
one. Great call by you. And the other one I saw, and I knew what it was before anybody, because I know the crime shows. They're like, hey, we thought he was like a mall Santa at Eaton Center. No, he's a gardener. You know, the guy was the mall
serial
Santa.
Killer.
Yeah, that guy. They got another episode with him. Can't wait, because these stories are all around here. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, George will learn a lot about our criminals in our area. Yes.
They had about a Canadian SWAT team. That was a good show. It ended years ago. About a Canadian SWAT team that was, once again, entertaining. Bad guy does something, good guys go get him.
Oh, I know what show you're talking about.
Yeah.
Flashpoint.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
It's with the lead singer of, you're right, Gabe, that actor, singer guy, the bald guy. Headstone.
Hugh
Dillon.
Dillon.
That guy's an actor. Yeah.
Hugh Dillon.
An actor. Hugh Dillon, great call. Good call. Yep.
I like the lead of the
That should be on like a game show right now.
Yeah, he should
Hugh
be.
Dillon.
Yeah. He used to be an actor in a bed. Headstones, Hugh Dillon. Nice.
Yeah, he's a pretty good actor, actually. He just transferred right into it. He's pretty good.
Canadian actors for 200, Morency. Yeah, that's
so. With that Italian guy, Enrico something. I never know his last name.
That guy.
Lazio?
What's last name either? Enrico Lisi. Yeah.
Yeah, Enrico Dallata. Yeah, thanks, Matt George.
Yeah.
You know, everyone knows who I'm talking about. The bald guy. Yeah. All right, George. So, did Kansas City win the Super Bowl, or did San Francisco choke the Super Bowl away, George? What's your take?
I don't think it's a choke. I don't. I am a big believer that more teams lose games than win them. You know, I think this is more of a normal. I think San Fran had so many opportunities to put the game away. They should have been up in the first half, probably by multiple scores, 14 to 17 points. Didn't take advantage of it. It was a sloppily played game, you know, kind of ugly there. I do major question, like everybody else on the planet, why Shanahan took the ball in overtime. I thought that was maybe his only mistake of the game. I thought it was a major mistake. It didn't make a lot of sense to me unless he was trying to get his defense rest, but he hadn't said that. Yeah, I do question whether or not he knew the rules there about how it worked.
He did say why. He did give his explanation was that they expected to trade. It was a stupid explanation. That he spoke to the analytical department and they felt that they were going to exchange field goals in overtime and that they would want the ball last to be able to win the game, which is just a weird,
that's
just
a
a weird
dangerous
explanation.
assumption there. That's a huge dangerous assumption. No, I don't. Listen, in this day and age, it might just be true. We all know analytics runs everything. Maybe it is true, but that's asinine in my mind.
And it came out that Kansas City would have went for two if they both would have scored touchdowns. That they would have went for two and not continued the game. Yeah, and they're not kidding. Like Mahomes said it, and Reed, their players were told. Chief players are all now doing interviews, and they all said it was a pre-made decision, like before. It goes to show, though, like their preparedness, at least. Like a little bit more than it seemed like Niners sort of more on the fly. The Chiefs are like, if this happens, we're doing this. If that happens, we're doing this, right? The Chiefs knew the overtime rules. Shanahan, I don't think Shanahan did. And I don't think the San Francisco players admitted after the fact. But you said, you thought that was his only mistake. How was it not a mistake, George, him running the ball once out of 9 plays in the third quarter. They didn't get a single first down.
Exactly.
Eight out of the 9 plays were pass plays. Why did he do that? And why the hell I was bitching about this live right here. Why didn't he call timeouts? He had 2 timeouts at the end of the first half. Kansas City were just standing there with the clock going down. Reed was probably thinking, I can't believe he's not calling a timeout. They got the ball back like with 20 seconds, and he wasted his 2 timeouts. He didn't even use them. He could have got the ball back with like 50 seconds left, George. And we just saw Jake Moody hit a 55-yarder before. I thought that was a massive mistake because it was a 2-for-1, right? KC scored the field goal, and they were getting the ball back to start the second half. He had to do everything possible to say, screw you, Reed. You take your field goal, I'm getting 3 right back in the next 50 seconds right now. And he didn't. And then they kicked another field goal, and then the next thing you know, they scored a touchdown, and they had the lead.
Everything you said is true, and I think most of us would have called those timeouts, but he was worse against, Green Bay? He had 3 timeouts and the ball, and he didn't call them at the end of the first half. It's just what he does. He's afraid of a turnover.
He's not a very good in-game coach. Let's call it out for what it is, Ken.
No, he's not. He's
not. A good game. He's a schemer, and he's a good coach, but
he's not ballsy. He's not ballsy.
It's like McDermott. He's like McDermott. Yeah. McDermott's a really good coach that just screws it up all the time.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the rack. And it was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you can talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like OKC just rolling into Detroit going, yeah, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
It is a big I told you so if Mac Jones comes back and Mayo keeps him and the Patriots don't draft a quarterback at number 3. But the fan base is a big problem. I mean, you bring back
fan base will be fine if they win.
There's the if. There's the if. If they win. Fan base won't care if you're quarterback in the Patriots if they win.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency. We're kicking it Monday Night Meltdown style. Shout out to everybody joining us on Sirius XM Channel 159. It's good to be back in our regular slot after a week in Vegas in which the programming was all over the place, but it was great stuff. Great content all week long on the grid. I was even watching it, actually, literally and figuratively. Like, you know what I mean? I'd get back to my hotel. I didn't go crazy in Vegas or anything like that. You know, like a couple of people would go out and they'd say, hey, Morency, we're going to Fremont Street, or we're going to the Bellagio, we're going here. And you know what I would tell them? I'd say, there ain't nothing there that I don't have sitting right here, right here.
Yeah, or I've seen before, right? How many times have you
been? They're all like, no, but there's going to be girls, there's going to be people. I said, so why do you think there's not going to be what? There's not girls here at MGM? Like, I told people, I said, so what does there have that this doesn't? What, like parties, slot machines, gambling, sport, like, you know what I mean? So like that's as wild as I got. One night, Cam, I played slots with a married couple from San Antonio, Houston Texan fans.
Nice.
At the Excalibur. And I did go out actually one night to a rock bar on Saturday night. But that was before the Super Bowl week started. Like I was on my own time. That wasn't during the week from Monday to that was like last Saturday. That was a really good time, but I always go to the same place in Vegas. They got great live music. But so, Cam, how did you do from a betting perspective? I know you hate the Chiefs and you're always betting on San Francisco. We talked about the teasers, and the teasers actually hit. Yeah, they all four hit, right? Over and under teasers both hit. Niner teasers hit. Chief teasers hit. I generally don't middle games, but this is one that I did. I did bet San Francisco, but I put more on San Francisco in an over teaser, and I took a Kansas City +9 over teaser. So I really actually crushed it, even though I had San Francisco on the money line. I made money on the game, but I can't lie, bro. I thought I was screwed, and we were talking like it was like the Ram-Patriot game. Pharrell was flipping out. We had 13 points, and I'm like, dude, we're not even going to get to the teaser, are we? Like, the halftime line was 36.5, and I said, you know what? I'm all in.
Do it. Yep.
I'm playing the over. And I took the Kansas City Chiefs +4.5 at halftime, too.
Good for you, Morency. I did the total. I'm not going to lie. It's funny. You're in Vegas and I'm here, but we were thinking the same way. I did all four teasers, and I told people, I go, this game is going to be tight. So the winning margin, I put more on San Francisco at over 3-1, but I also took it with KC before the start of the game. I can't lie. George Kittle killed me on, like, that was one guy in props that I thought over 3.5 receptions, wrong yards. I had him first touchdown. But other than that, every teaser middled. I did really well with the McCaffrey over receiving and stuff. But if not for Kittle and San Francisco, like if they would have won that game, it would have been a very special Super Bowl. But you're right. We saved ourselves, and thanks for live betting and stuff. You come back a little bit on the Chiefs, but you know what it is, Morency? Some of those props, I invested too much in Kittle, and I paid the price.
George, how'd you do with the props?
Well, Kittle killed me as well. I think we were all on him. It seemed like with the props, if I'd hit one prop on a player, but not the other prop. Like, Kelsey hit 2 out of 3. Okay, got his receptions, got his yardage, didn't get the touchdown there that we were looking for. Pacheco, same thing. Didn't get the rushing yardage there, but I did get his over the 16.5 carries. I was on Kansas City. I said last week I wasn't betting against Mahomes anymore. First one to tell you that I thought San Fran outplayed them badly and probably should have won the game. They found a way to lose. So it was a mixed day. I hit the bigger bets, lost the little ones. Probably overall, if I made 20 bets, I went 8 and 12.
You know what, Gabe? We talked about this a long time ago, and quickly, I just want to add, all the secondary players in Super Bowls, things like, this is where other guys come to play, like 49ers with Jennings and even Noah Gray and stuff. Like, you almost have to think outside the box, because you got to think the chalk guys, every guy in the public's going to play one of them, and Kittle was the guy who got burned. And I learned my lesson big time. More Noah Grays, more third receivers. Hell, Conley had a great game on special teams. I'm thinking this guy's on fire. He had like one of the best games. I'm like, look at all these guys who are like afterthoughts. Other than Ray McLeod, a lot of these, deep guys on the depth chart.
Jennings might have gotten MVP if San Fran would have won.
I agree, George.
He might have gotten it.
I agree. You're right.
Yeah, Jennings had a TD, and he had the TD pass was unbelievable at one point. Juszczyk was a trendy, under the radar pick. His receiving yard prop was 3.5, and of course he caught the first pass of the game for like 18 or something like that to burst out. So I want to get to some hockey futures, but let's do the baseball first. Dodgers training camp is open. Ohtani made his debut today, and he took some swings in batting practice. And this is the Ohtani watch is real, because I can tell you that he took 21 swings. And out of the 21 swings, he hit 10 home runs, actually, which is pretty impressive for his first time swinging the bat since his surgery, right? I guess he swung in practice or whatnot, but there was some talk, George. You know what I mean? There was no guarantee he was going to be ready for opening day, but because the opening day is rapidly approaching, right? March 20th for the Dodgers. Ohtani was very enthused, though. He said, felt great. Talked about being the second time going through the same type of rehab, that this time has been much easier for him, and it's not as big of a problem. He feels good, but baseball's around the corner. It's real. The Dodgers they're in camp, man.
Yeah, saw the highlights of Ohtani as well. They showed highlights of Aaron Judge taking batting practice, hitting one over the scoreboard. It's good to see, right? Football is now done. We don't have football for 7 more months, so as much as we love hockey, basketball.
Football's not done. No. Football's not done. NFL draft, man.
Well, at games that count. I'm well aware the NFL draft is in April, but games that count are done for the NFL until September.
I bet as much money on the draft as I do the Super Bowl, if not more sometimes.
Yeah.
So they're not games. They're not games, but they're not games, but it's this, you know what I mean? It's NFL. So you're handicapping NFL teams. You're handicapping what the team is going to do. You're handicapping where the players are going to go. I'm going to get to this in level 3 with our boy Mo Khan. And in fact, the odds are already popping up right now. They did a great job with this. They waited until boom, the day after the Super Bowl, the player props are up now. And so specifically team to draft player props are up. Team to draft Bo Nix is posted right now. Team to draft Brock Bowers is posted right now. And the one I'm fascinated by is team to draft J.J. McCarthy. And not to mention what's going to happen with the first overall pick in the draft, Cam. Like I said, there's a lot of drama around this draft. There's going to be a lot of money to be made. It seems to me, and I don't agree with the move. I don't even know. I don't know what to agree. The Bears, they're in a tough spot, Kurtz. But it appears that they're going to trade Justin Fields.
I think that's nuts.
I think they're taking Caleb Williams. Or at least they're going to send that message out. But there was a report today, basically. Schefter was on it already, that Fields is sort of out there. The Bears are saying, the Bears are open for business. And I don't know if you guys saw the story, but Adam, I'll throw it to you, Kurtz. But Adam Schefter's reporting, if I'm Kenny Pickett, I'm not feeling too comfortable about this. That Mike Tomlin's a big Justin Fields fan, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are interested in Justin Fields.
Yeah, if I'm the Bears, I believe in Justin Fields. But I get it. You're going to have to pay him big money now. He's in the big money category. He's going to get $30+ million a year. If you do take Caleb Williams, you get to reset the quarterback, right? You get to pay him the rookie salary for 4 to 5 years. Maybe he'll be a better player. Maybe he won't. And you get the trade. This is the key part. I think I'm doing this. I'll draft Caleb. As long as I can trade Justin Fields for 3 number 1s and more. I would sort of understand that then. All right, you get to reset it with Caleb. And then
they're not getting that much for Fields.
I don't think so either.
No, they're not getting anywhere near that for Fields.
Doing some other picks, I think. 3's
probably
a lot.
Not. They'll get a couple of number 1s. There'll be teams out there that have no choice.
No, listen, I can't speak definitively, factually. I don't know, but no, I'm just stating the report from what the feeling, the process was. Teams are telling the Bears they'll give him a 2nd-round pick for Justin Fields.
That's nuts.
And Justin Fields not getting traded.
Exactly.
No, but the thing is, other teams. If other teams know, George, if other teams know that the Bears are taking Williams, the Bears have no choice but to trade Justin Fields. They know that.
They won't give him away. They'll get a number 1 pick. There are too many teams that need a quarterback. It's not like it's one team. If one team needed a quarterback, sure, they can set the price. No, we're not giving you that.
But you said it yourself.
Multiple teams that need
a quarterback. But you said it, George. It's one thing. You got to pay him. So that's almost part of the deal. It's like, listen, we're going to give up, and not only are we giving up, we have to pay this guy right now, right? We're going to have to pay him a real contract after.
You know what, Gabe?
There's going to be multiple teams that quarterback
to play the game with these
If I was the
reports.
Falcons, I would get Justin Fields.
Oh, damn
Sorry,
right
Ken,
you
go
would.
on.
Compared to Ritter and Heineke?
Yeah.
Yes,
And he's from Atlanta, Ken. He's actually from Georgia. So it's like, dude, just bring him home.
What a perfect fit for a team on carpet like that. That guy on grass could move.
You'd have Bijan Robinson, Justin Fields, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. Come on.
And you guys know, we've been through this before with fake reports for guys going somewhere. The Bears have to make it known that they're not going to get screwed up, so they can at least get a package or something for them, because there's nothing. Everyone knows they're lying. They're going to get fleeced. So that's the whole.
But I'm just telling you, Cam, that's why.
So, yes.
NFL people are saying that Fields' market value is like a second and a fourth round pick. And it's not right? But the thing is, why I believe that they're leaning this way is they wanted like 4 first-round picks for Williams. So the thought is they're asking for so much, they actually are keeping the pick. They don't think anyone's going to blow them away with this much. I kind of think the Commanders could move up a spot, though. We'll hit this on the other side.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the rack. And it was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you can talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like OKC just rolling into Detroit going, yeah, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
It is a big I told you so if Mac Jones comes back and Mayo keeps him and the Patriots don't draft a quarterback at number 3. But the fan base is a big problem. I mean, you bring back
fan base will be fine if they win.
There's the if. There's the if. If they win, fan base won't care if you're quarterback in the Patriots if they win.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pistol players, the hustlers, the people, the bust them, and everybody else in between. So, yeah, we're not kidding. We were talking about the NFL draft being up next. So people say, oh, football's done. No, football's not done. The NFL, the NFL playoffs are done. The United Football League is going to kick off in about a month or so. And that is the USFL and the XFL have combined and merged into the United Football League. I still thought that the US XFL was cooler, but hey, what do I know? So yeah, the United Football League, but the quality of the United Football League is going to be really good because you basically just took two leagues that both were pretty cool in their own right. They were even like as far as quality. It was basically the same effing players, and a lot of the same guys. So quality wise, it was the same. The XFL somehow was just sort of cooler. The XFL fans were drunker and more into it. The USFL was good, and they were sending guys to the NFL as well, but it was like empty stadiums and stuff. So it was stupid that they were going head-to-head against each other, these two secondary leagues, and they even had teams in the same cities in some instances. Yeah. It was ridiculous. So now you've merged two leagues into one. The quality of play is going to be good. We murdered both leagues last year. So I'm kind of sad that they merged the two because I made money on both of them. But we've got that football coming up. No, it's true, Cam.
That's the best. No, that's the best. Why are you merging? Leave it be. That's the best.
I had two leagues. Yeah, think about
it.
You're right.
You're right about United Football League. That's so generic.
Yeah, it sounds
Do better.
Yeah,
it sounds ultra
Especially
lame.
for a league owned by The Rock, Cam. Like, that's the best you got, The Rock? Like, the United Football League? Come on.
You're in a wrestling background. You're supposed to have the moves, the catch line phrases. Like, what are you doing? United Football League? It sounds
UFC.
like a parcel service. Come on now.
Yeah, like, even if you don't like this stuff, but they come up with a power slap. You're like, whoa. Like, you get like a... you got to get a name that sticks. It's like the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. I mean, how they came up with a Super Bowl is because of the Hunt's kid had a Super Bowl. It's simple. They were like, man, we got to call this. We can't just call it the championship, right? Yeah. They wanted a name for it. They were really choking. And it was like Hunt's daughter was bouncing a rubber Super Ball. Yeah. And he looked and he said, Super Bowl. And the rest is history. And I imagine, too, that... imagine, Cam, it was his daughter bouncing a ball in front of him, and it said Super Bowl on it. And he was like, Super Bowl.
Too bad the kid wasn't smart enough to trademark the beautiful move. You know what I mean? Before everybody else. Damn it.
No, but I guarantee you, man, in like 1969, bro, or whatever, like someone in the office said, Super Bowl's a dumb name. What are you, an idiot? It's a football game. What do you mean? What's super about it? Like, you know what I mean? And here we are years later. Wonder if he told them, listen, in 58 years, people are going to be charging $2.5 million for luxury suites at these games like we are right now. But, so you got the United Football League. The CFL is sort of around the corner. But the NFL draft has never been bigger than it is. And in fact, man, we weren't there last year in Kansas City. We were there for the draft in Vegas a couple of years ago. It's in Detroit this year, which would be super cool. You got betting in Detroit. You got all the casinos and everything's right downtown as well. Like, it's really cool. So you got the NFL draft, but with all these options, guys, like I really will have multiple thousands of dollars in the end, George, on the NFL draft when it's all said and done. You don't get into betting on the draft?
Oh, I bet on the draft. Not to your extent, no, but I'll bet on the draft, sure. Certain positions for certain teams, draft orders like that. I'll be in draft pools, where you actually predict the entire first round, and there'll be money awarded depending on who gets it the most right there. They have a grading system. It's actually kind of fun. But it's a lot of work to get in as well. So sure, but with games, there are a lot of analytics for games. A lot of the draft, like Cam already said it. Everybody's lying right now. They're all lying because they all feel it's state secrets. They don't want to let anything out there. So it's hard to figure out who's telling the truth or some modicum of the truth between now and draft day.
No, but you don't listen to anything. That's the whole thing. This is why the advantage is one of the few things that you have not an advantage. That they don't have an advantage over you, right? Like all these numbers are so sharp, right? They're running simulation. They got AI, artificial intelligence and simulators. And like You're not dealing with some fat guy, Fat Tony, with a cigar and a fedora anymore setting a number. Bettors don't really have an advantage, right? And you got to be really good at it. You know, like the computer number is sharp. It is what it is. The draft, though, George, like you said, the odds makers, bro, they're at the mercy of the media. They have no idea, right? You think some odds maker right now in Ireland or England or whatever, like, you know, a lot of these sites are built, you know, overseas and whatnot. You think they know? They don't care. They don't know, right? They'll listen to what certain reports say. They'll trust certain websites. They're not going to tell you which ones. But they really are, kind of, he said, and tune all that stuff out. And I've done well with the draft by forget all the outside noise. Just think logically about what the team will do, okay? Not what somebody says online, not what Twitter says about a player. Twitter thinks J.J. McCarthy sucks. J.J. McCarthy might end up going in the damn top 10 right now. All right? So, like, perception is one thing and reality is another thing. You've got to think, guys, when you're betting the draft, it's not what you think about a player. It's not what the jackasses online think about a player. It's not what Mel Kiper thinks about the player. What does the general manager of the team think about the player? He's the one making the pick. So, like, you know, I tell people, oh, he'll go here. Doesn't mean I would draft a player there, but you know what I mean? I'm going to be betting it. And a good example is J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. I said right after the game that night, I said, I'm telling you right now, guys, this guy is born to be a Minnesota Viking. He's going to be a Viking. And lo and behold, the Vikings are the favorites here. The three favorites for J.J. McCarthy, the Raiders plus 550, the Vikings plus 550, and the Broncos right now. And they all draft right there. Right? 11, 12, 13 type of stuff. So I think that's where McCarthy's going to go. But if you're betting the draft, guys, for people that are interested in this stuff, and you know if you're betting because you're probably smart about it, these numbers are volatile, man. Right? Like they're going to change. They're going to go down. They're going to go up. It's really crazy that this draft market. So it's like Mark Lawrence told us, Cam, in the old days with the playoff series once. He said, I'm just hoarding plus money every day.
Yep.
Right. So anytime you see these massive numbers, and man, this guy's 1,200 to be the third pick, take it. Because he might be plus 200 the next day and you can take the next guy. It's a fascinating and fluid market, NFL draft betting. It's kind of complicated, but it's there for the taking. Because like I said, man, the odds makers have no idea, bro. They're watching ESPN and Mel Kiper, right? And they're like, okay, this is what the rumors are. So I think there's an advantage there. Here's another odds I wanted to get to. We'll get back to the draft with Mo Khan, but baseball odds are up right now. And, George, you're always so down on your Yankees. And I was very surprised to see the American League East odds in which the New York Yankees are favored to win the division. Plus 145. The Baltimore Orioles are plus 200. The Blue Jays are plus 350. The Rays are 7-1, and the Red Sox are 14-1. What do you think about the Yankees being favored to win the American League East?
I think, once again, it's because they're the Yankees, you know, and they're a popular team here. The Orioles are a better team, and they got better. They got Corbin Burns, right? I mean, I almost started to cry when I saw that. That's the one thing the Orioles needed. They needed that ace, and they got it. All right, and they got it for, I mean, I can't believe they got it for the two prospects, a whole, and whatever. I mean, what does seem like a lot to give up for Corbin Burns. Apparently, the Yankees didn't want to give up Spencer Jones, a left-handed Aaron Judge clone, big guy. Yankees believe they may have something else there. The Yankees, listen, if everything goes well, the Yankees will be a good team. But I mean, everything has to go well. Anybody believe Judge, Stanton, Rizzo, they're all going to stay healthy? That starting staff, by the way, is held together. I said it last week. Scott's tape and Elmer's glue. Cole, yeah, okay, he'll be great, no doubt. But then you got Cortez, Rodon, I mean, Schmidt. I mean, you're a Stroman. None of these guys do basically anywhere near 150 innings last year. You're hoping they can all do it this year. The Yankees' depth is not good. They traded all that depth to San Diego, and their bullpen is worse than last year. The offense, like I said, should be better. It better be better. But it's hard for me to see I think they'll be a playoff team. But to win that division, I have the Orioles being the best team, maybe the best team in the American League, by the way. And I think Toronto is as good as the Yankees, if not better. If Toronto hits, which they did last year for whatever reason, they're a better team.
You see that board, Morency? So you're telling me the Blue Jays are 3 times worse than the Yankees? That board said plus 450. On my site, it's not. It's only 4-1, and one of them's plus 350. But you want to plus 480? Plus 480? Come on now. Almost 5-1? That's nuts. I like the Orioles to win the division, but it's almost in order to play the Blue Jays at plus 480. That's a ridiculous number.
I don't trust the Yankees either. George is the Yankee fan, but as we all know, they have a lot of injury-prone players. They've got older players. They've got worn-out players, as George alluded to as well. They gave up a lot of depth, man. Like, it's kind of, not star players, but they gave up a lot of depth. Bullpen guys, this, arms, that. And that'll hurt them just to get Soto. They do have some powerful bats. We can't dispute it. I'm not in love with Baltimore as much as everybody. Remember, guys, in the playoffs, I said they're going to lose in the first round. I bet against them. I was anti-Baltimore. But they got that experience now a little bit. So I do think they're for real. And George Burns is good, but like you said, it's interesting that they got him like that. It seems like, Milwaukee didn't want to pay him, remember, from the arbitration, and there was bad blood. Not a lot of teams were lining up for him, George. I don't know, why. I don't know if they don't think he's worth it. It's almost like Snell, if you'll notice.
Fair.
Like, people are...
Maybe they know
they're like,
Gabe medically or
we
something.
don't like
they
him.
see something they don't like. Like something
They don't
could
like
break
him,
down.
Ken.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a personality
Gabe's
thing.
right. Gabe is right. Why didn't another team pay more than Baltimore? That was the strange part. Unless, listen, maybe the Brewers love the prospects. They love DL Hall. They think he's going to be a superstar. But all reports from multiple evaluators are these are good prospects, but nowhere near the best ones.
They like getting money off the books. They're tight. They're not going to spend money.
I get that, but why doesn't another team offer more for Corbin Burns? Corbin Burns may not be an ace, but he's a top 10 starting pitcher.
There was a lot of teams that were looking for that type of pitcher. Look at the Dodgers. They brought in Glass now. They brought in Paxton. The Dodgers never had any interest in Burns, right? You heard Buzz. They didn't know. The Phillies, George. You know what I mean? All these contending teams. Don't tell me that, they couldn't use a Burns. There's something about him
Maybe
that...
Milwaukee wanted him to have a National League. He had to go to the American League. I mean, maybe. I don't think so, but maybe.
I think they cared.
It made no sense to me.
But he's not the ace he was, but he hasn't been the same since they upset him. He was really upset 2 years ago after an arbitration meeting. Like, the thing is, they tell you, don't go to your own meetings, man. Yes. It's not pretty. Dude, it's not like a fun party, this thing. This is why you
leave wanting to kill people. It's like, you think I want this? Yeah, it's a bad negotiation.
Look, Karen, you sit at one end of a table and you watch the team that you play for and bleed for just tear you apart. And say, we think you only have 2 years left. We don't think, you're not as good as the top 20 as this. You don't even rank in the top 60 of this. We don't think we should do this.
You're right.
And then in the end, they're like, but we love you. But we love you.
but
right?
we love you. Another thing, hey, Burns, enjoy pitching in the AL East, too. It's a hell of a lot worse than the NL Central, bro. Enjoy that. Look at the teams he's got to face. Yankees, Jays, Rays.
Hey, plus 200, though. It's a pretty good number for Baltimore.
It is.
I mean, they're pretty good. I mean, that plus money. I just don't think the Yankees should be that big of favorites.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the rack. And it was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you can talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like, OKC just rolling into Detroit going, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
It is a big I told you so if Mac Jones comes back and Mayo keeps him and the Patriots don't draft a quarterback at number 3. But the fan base is a big problem. I mean, you bring
The
back
fan base will be fine if they win.
There's the if. There's the if. If they win, fan base won't care if you're quarterback in the Patriots if they win.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. Looking forward to the start of baseball season. It's not all that far off, actually. It starts earlier than ever because the Dodgers in San Diego are going to Korea. That's March 20th and March 21st. But then literally, 4 or 5 days later, it's like March 26th, 27th or whatnot. Baseball's never started in March before like this. It's like insanity, but bring it on, baby. Why not? Another sport to bet on. Like I said, we're going to have the United Football League. Baseball season's around the corner. NASCAR season set to begin. Daytona 500. I'm more into Formula One, but Formula One's now just a couple of weeks away. I think it's March 1st, March 2nd weekend. It is. Formula One starts. The cycle of sports continue. March Madness, conference tournaments around the corner, March Madness, and then we get into NBA and NHL playoffs. So speaking of the NHL, right now, updated score, 2-2. After 2 periods of play, Cam, this game has slowed down a little bit. 2-2 now.
Great call, Morency. I would say that's what you say. I'm like, 2-2 after 1. No goals in the second period. Could have got that 7.5 and hit the under. Instead, I got just thinking everything was going to be cool. Now I wish I had the 7.5 in my back pocket. I still think Vegas can get a win here, and hopefully we get 2 goals in the third. I lean that way. I see like a 4-2 victory, 3-2 and an empty netter for somebody. Vegas, hopefully.
What do you think, Kurtz? I didn't bet this game. I thought it was a trap tonight. I just didn't trust Vegas. I didn't really want Minnesota either. Plus, I'm not, I've got to go to books and all around. I still have to go back to Monmouth Racetrack to cash a ticket, which I'm not overly happy about. But especially considering there's like an epic snowstorm.
Don't they have mail? Like I do when I leave Vegas and I just send in all my mail tickets.
I'm not trusting that. No, I'm not trusting that for this ticket.
You have to write very clearly.
I would
in
trust
bold
that in travel tomorrow.
I've never got a mail play, Morency. I know it's hard to do, but I've never been ripped off.
I've done mail tickets before. I know.
I forgot a check in a sock drawer that expired. The problem with those checks are you got to cash them quick. I left one. I'm like, hey, I just threw $300 away. What a stooge.
I got mail paid by the D before. They paid me. All right, thanks, guys.
Later, Gabe.